let's talk about why 100% of businesses that fail. Why do they fail? They do not make enough money to continue to be in existence. At the end of the day, they can say people didn't demand their product, they couldn't find any great team members, they couldn't figure out product market fit. Well, all of that stuff might be the reasons behind the failure, but the real reason is they weren't able to make money. Sure, maybe they didn't have product market fit, but they could have sold something else in order to make money so that the business could continue to survive, because the survival of your business, the oxygen of your business, is your ability to make money. The reason that your team members work for you is because you pay them a paycheck. You are not going to stay in business, and your team members are not going to continue to work for you if next Monday you came into the office and said, listen guys, I know that we had offer letters and that you came here in order to fulfill this role as a marketing manager, as a director of finance, as a product development manager. I know that you signed all these offer letters and we said that we were going to pay you these things, but I've changed my mind and I've decided that we're just going to run off of passion, and I no longer am going to be able to afford to pay you guys, but I want us to continue to work because we care so much about what we do. Your team's going to resign tomorrow. Like, nobody wants to continue to keep up that end of their bargain if they're not knowing that you're keeping up your end of the bargain, which is paying them. They're not showing up, you're not paying them. Okay, great. We're not gonna go anywhere fast with this. So as you're thinking about how to grow your business, it is so easy to get far, far away on a day-to-day basis from the activities that actually allow your business to stay in business and to grow. In order for you to stay in business and to grow, you have to make more money. It's just what it is. The first thing that you have to do is get crystal clear on your financial targets. Think about it in these few buckets. The first bucket is your annual revenue target. How much money in revenue are you going to generate and target for this year? Let's say you were $1 million business last year. How could you be a $1.5 million business this year? Without getting into the mechanics, just like, is 1.5 the right number? Is 2 million the right number? Pick a target. Okay, so if you know that you are running a $2 million business, that's your target. Over the next 12 months, what is it going to take in the form of adding additional products and services, selling more of your current products and services, which is probably what you need to do before adding additional ones. But you can get creative if you so choose in order to create additional revenue so that you can hit that target. So the first place that you start always in figuring out what you need to do in your business is the annual financial target for your revenue. And then we're gonna move from annual to quarterly so that you just chunk it down. You're taking a $2 million target and you're gonna say, okay, in quarter one, we're going to generate $500,000. Beautiful. Now, if we take $500,000 and we split it up over 3 months to get a monthly target, 500,000 divided by 3 is $166,666.66. That's what you need to generate this month. And then if you divided that by how many days there are in a month, let's take selling days in a month. So I'm gonna use the number 20. Today, in order for you to be on track to hit your annual revenue target of $2 million, you would need to sell $8,333 worth of your products and services. It's really that simple. So you have this target, fantastic. That's step number one. Now, every single day, you need to be reporting and have visibility into how much you sold yesterday. So if you only sold $2,462 worth of products and services yesterday, and you know that your target was well above that, we're not gonna be able to be on track to hit the rest of our target. Whereas if you sold $10,000 in products and services yesterday, oh shoot, what did we do yesterday to figure out what we need to be able to duplicate for tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next day, in order to exceed our $2 million annual revenue target. When you break it down into these really simple, basic steps, you start to have more control over your ability to achieve your targets. And when people, especially business owners who might not know how to create targets and they just started their business because they had this idea, they had this passion, and no one really taught them to think through the mechanics of the business, it just becomes very difficult to talk in terms of financial targets, and it feels very disconnected from what am I supposed to do today. But when you do look at it in this way and you can say, okay, yesterday I didn't sell as much as I needed to sell, what do I need to do? But more importantly, when you're looking at what you did yesterday, today, and you see that you hit a big target, you sold $10,000 yesterday, you have to ask yourself this question. This is a game-changing question for your business. How do I repeat that successful action? How do I repeat that successful action? What did I do yesterday that allowed me to generate $10,000 on my products and services? What happened? You're gonna find out. You're gonna hear from your salesperson. Oh, well, we got this lead from a referral and it was the best, most qualified lead, and they decided to refer two other people to us all on the same day because they have these fitness classes that they go to. And so we were able to get 3 sales out of that first referral in a very short amount of time. Well, instead of just thinking, oh, well, it's nice that that happened once and good job, team, you really look at it and you say, wait, okay, how do I take that original referral source? How did I get that person? Where did I find them? How can I do more in order to find more people like that, where they're located? And then how do I build greater relationships to incentivize these referrals to keep doing what they're doing, which is referring? And this financial target, that's not maybe gonna fit exactly your business model. Your business model might have something else that just like, it seems like a momentary blip of success. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see business owners make financially is not paying enough attention to look and see when those moments, those blips of success happen, to stop and say, what did we do right there to make that successful? Okay, let's do more of that. Because that's really cultivating and curating your business. That's putting attention and detail into knowing what your targets are, knowing when you're above target, knowing what you're doing well so that you can keep duplicating that. And then in those moments where you're not doing things well, don't even look at what you're doing wrong necessarily. Like we have this philosophy, you make firm your wins and you forget your losses. You're not trying to just nitpick and figure out, why did I only generate $1,000 of revenue? What am I doing wrong? Forget about what you're doing wrong. What are you doing right? How did you get the 1,000? Okay, how do I do more of that? And just thinking of these terms helps you understand why the importance of your financial targets and your ability to have transparency into them on a daily basis is critical. So let's break down how you look at this daily. The first thing that you want to look at is what you generated yesterday. That's very helpful data, but there's additional pieces of context that will be able to help you understand if you're on track or if you're off track. So, daily collection from yesterday is first. The next is month to date. So how are you trending? If it's the 13th of the month, how are you trending of month to date? All 13 days of the month, how much revenue have you generated? Now, the next number that you want to look at is your month to date in that same date, so it would be the 13th of the month, in the previous month. And why that's helpful is you can start to understand, am I doing better at the same point in time this month, or am I doing worse than I was doing last month? And if you notice you're at the 13th of the month, you're almost halfway through, you notice that you're doing worse, you're going to be able to understand that you need to pick up more momentum as it relates to your sales. You're not gonna get all the way to the end of the month, and normally this is how business owners operate their business. They get all the way to the end of the month, wait for their financials to be closed halfway into the next month, so you're adding 30 to 45 days of time before you realize that you were off in your revenue generation. Well, if you were looking at this every single day and comparing it to where you were the previous month, all of a sudden, you're gonna be able to make a decision on the 13th day instead of having to wait all of this time, and you can change the entire trajectory of your month just by looking at that data. The fourth number that you're looking at is your best month at that date. So let's say my best month in the history of my company was in April, and it's July. I'm first looking at, this is July, we've generated X amount of dollars on the 13th day of the month in July. Last month, the month of June, we've generated X amount of dollars on the 13th of July. But our best month back in April, we had generated X amount of dollars by the 13th of the month. And that number was actually higher than where we're currently at, but maybe June was lower than what April was. You see, you're getting context because if you happen to have a bad month, you're gonna accidentally lower your target for this month because you don't contextually understand that the best month ever, you were able to do so much more. And this is the other mind-blowing thing. For a business to grow, for you to go from $1 million in revenue last year to $2 million of revenue this year, the most sustainable way for you to grow is for you over the course of a 12-month period, every single month, to incrementally have your best month ever. Think about that. You should be having the best month you've ever had forever in growing your business. The only reason that you would not have your best month ever is if you were stagnating, which means that your business wouldn't be growing. So this should become very normal. And ideally, June was your best month ever, and it was last month. But in some cases, you might have had a few months ago where it was your best month ever, so you're still using that as your benchmark. Why that's helpful? If I'm using my best month ever as the benchmark, my belief about what I can do is much higher than if I'm using a month that I didn't hit my best month. Because by looking at my best month, I'm reminded, oh, wait a second, I've done this before. I've been more successful than I am currently being right now. So what did I do then in order to be successful so I can repeat those things? And this algorithm that you can use to start to really look at and understand your business is the thing that changes the direction of your business while you can make the changes, instead of looking in reverse saying, oh, I could have done all these things, but I didn't have the information. You can get all this information. You can demand that you see all of this information. And that's what we do. Every single morning we get an email sent at 9:15 that shares with us how much revenue we generated yesterday, how much revenue we've generated month to date, how much revenue we had generated at the same time last month, and how much revenue we had generated at this point in our best month. And so it contextualizes our business and helps us pay attention to the main thing, the oxygen, the lifeblood of our business, which is, are we generating money? Are we generating revenue, or are we not? This is what we help business owners do day in and day out. And I'd love to have you have the opportunity to have a one-on-one call with our team. My team will drop this link in the video right here for you to be able to connect with them on how we can help you avoid the breakpoints that most business owners come into contact with, struggle with, and then they aren't able to grow because they just don't have the right tools and the right information on how to move through those breakpoints. So the team will put the link there. I'm also curious in the comments to know what the most successful thing that you are doing as it relates to your financials is. How are you sharing it with your teams? How are you looking at it? Let me know in the comments. I'm super curious and look forward to connecting with you there.